Hello, Athai. Thank you so much for being here at Gems of Margazhi.
So happy to be here. So
Thank
happy to
you.
be here in this beautiful atmosphere on this lovely occasion and being interviewed by this lovely girl like you.
Thank you. It's such an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, my dear.
So, நீங்க வந்து such a well-renowned, accomplished artist. You've got the SNA award and the Kalaimamani Tamil Government Award. நீங்க so many years of performing உங்களுக்கு what does Margazhi personally mean to you?
That's a very beautiful question because I was born in the month of Margazhi,
Oh.
and Margazhi is very, very important to my family. So I grew up in a culture where Margazhi was celebrated all 30 days, where we would get up early in the morning and recite the Pasurams, and which I still continue to do. And maybe not as early as 3 a.m., which I used to do with my grandparents, but at a far more comfortable time of the morning now. So the first thing that comes to my mind for Margazhi is definitely Andal and Krishna. And her love for this Krishna and her pasurams, which she sang each pasuram for all the 30 days, has definitely created such a huge impact in all our lives. And not only for me, but so many people share her love for Krishna at this time. And the fact that Krishna also mentions, Lord Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that his favorite month of the year is Margazhi. So for the Lord himself, it is a favorite month, and he is celebrated by one of his greatest devotees, Andal. It is a time to celebrate, and me being a dancer, definitely the month, as we call it, the December festival, the December Margazhi festival. And I started dancing when, even before I could remember, by the age of 3. So from the time I even remember or recall, I've been going to sabhas and watching performances during this 1 month. And the other thing is, it's also the end of the year. So there is this feeling that, this year is ended and you look forward to a new year. That thing of looking forward is also there. So I think to me, this is what Margazhi means.
That is such a beautiful explanation. I think from your childhood, following some habits is such an inspiration for us youngsters who are trying to get into a habit of having a proper routine in our day-to-day
Don't
life.
worry. We will all do exactly what your parents have done. So definitely Margazhi always brings
It's a
excellent
beautiful
memories.
culmination of so many cultures.
Yes.
So, Ate, as a performer and an artist, you had so many years of experience. How do you think jewelry kind of emotes an emotion of an artist, or how does that change the persona of a performance?
Definitely jewelry plays a very important role on stage because ultimately we have a section on Abhinaya itself called Aharya Abhinaya. Aharya is what you wear. So it could be your costume, it could be your hairdo, it could be your makeup, it could be your jewelry. This whole thing constitutes the Aharya. So in that, jewelry plays an extremely important role. It all depends on how you've structured your performance. For instance, if you're doing a solo and if it is going to be a regular repertoire or margam, and if that is going to have more traditional pieces, okay, then I would go in for very traditional jewelry. Supposing in between I'm going to change to something which is a bit lighter, of a lighter vein. For instance, I'm doing a Veera Bhajan, I'm doing an Abhang, I'm doing something else which is different. I definitely will add something I would remove, for instance, if I'm wearing a Mangamala, okay, I will remove the Mangamala and I will try to wear a chain with pearls or something just to denote that mood. Similarly, if as a solo you're doing a thematic, for instance, you're doing something on Rama, you're doing something on Draupadi, you're doing something on Mirabai, you're doing something on Anda, anything it could be. Definitely what you wear will reflect that character. You can't just wear any piece of jewelry which you normally wear on stage. It has to be chosen with care.
A lot of them is based on the theme and the story that is happening. But do you also kind of go on the visual impact, and how does that change what you're going for?
Yes, definitely. Ultimately, dance is visual. So it has to have that aesthetic quality, beauty, elegance. I think also goes on the sensitivity of the artist. Quality matters a lot. For instance, just because it's available, sometimes you'll have different kinds of pieces of jewelry, but when worn together, it won't match at all. So then you can't do something like that. So you have to think about other ways and means of changing a small thing inside it, or making it look slightly different. Yeah, the visual impact is extremely important.
Yeah. So, I think, how do you see Bharatanatyam as an art form evolving for the younger generations? And what are the elements or aspects that you think should always remain rooted and intact?
Hmm. Again, a very interesting question. It's an art form which is such a traditional art form. Definitely, this change is going to be there, especially for the younger generation. Having said that, I find that now the younger generation is also very, very interested in going back to tradition and to roots. Okay, I say this with confidence because I see this not only in dance, but I see this across different genres. It could be fashion, it could be food, it could be religion, it could be culture, it could be anything. So, on one hand, if people are very interested in the progress, on the other hand, they're also wanting to know a lot about their tradition and they want to hold on to their roots as well. So, I find that is also there. So, because of that, I think there is a very good future for Bharatanatyam to be in its traditional form, because as much as people are interested in all these things which are very transient, few people hold on to this. Definitely it will come to become part of the mainstream Bharatanatyam itself, that what, this is what it is, we can make all these changes, but this is what we're going to hold on to. That it is important. The crux of it, the grammar should not be diluted at any cost.
So, as a guru, as a performer, you've had such a beautiful career. So, is there any one particular piece of jewelry that you're sentimentally very attached to?
I can't say any one piece of jewelry. I had so many pieces of jewelry that I'm sentimentally attached to. I definitely jewelry. I'm very particular about certain pieces of jewelry that I always use on stage, and that will last for me for a period of 10 years or 15 years. After that, that might change to something else. But invariably, I'll have one piece that I will usually wear as my lucky charm, or something that I used to wear my mother's necklace as an ulkaratha necklace forever, because as a little child she used to put it on for me and I continued to wear it much into my senior years. And then one day, for whatever reason, I wanted to remake that into something else. So then it was diamond mangoes. And
nice.
It was in ulkaratha, little diamond mangoes, chinnadu. But I really used to like it so much, and we wanted to make it into a bigger mala. So அதை எடுத்துட்டு அதை பெரிய மாலை ஆக்கும்போது then it became something else. And I used to wear a gold chain with a Perumal pendant, which was my lucky charm. So this Nalkal Adige, which you've given me today to wear, is a piece of jewelry that I simply absolutely love, because I feel that this is something that a Bharatanatyam dancer should always have, because idu or kasamala, manga mala, idella goes without saying. These are things like it's very much part of the art form. You can't remove it from the art form. And Nalakal Adige, to me, is a very, very important piece of jewelry. And also see the way this pendant is made and the way it's sitting on the neck, all that also matters so much. And when you dance, that ulkaratha, I feel personally as a dancer, makes a huge difference, because somehow it reflects on your face.
This Adiga that you're saying, I love pairing it with anything I wear. Traditional or jumpsuit or a dress or a sari, half sari, I think it looks stunning on everything. Such a classic.
And it's a timeless design. It's a timeless design. Having said that, it also requires expertise to make it well. Because it won't sit that easily if a person without expertise tries to make it. It will stand out. It won't sit on the neck. And I wear a full headset, a full tala saman even to this day. And I like it when my students also wear it. So the Toda Jimki Matal is again standard. It's standard. There's no two ways about it.
Bharatanatyam is often described as a conversation between the dancer and the divine. So how do you personally experience this connection when you perform?
Okay, yet again, this is a very, very interesting question, because it's like saying that, yes, definitely you experience this, but it might happen once in, I don't even know how many years. Okay, it's not as though every time you dance it happens. Definitely not. It's not even a possibility, at least for me. But it will happen. But when it happens, it's so beautiful that that experience will see you through. That it's like something so beautiful that you'll want to go back to it. So you don't mind going through all this for that one, not ever knowing whether or not it's going to happen, but hoping and praying that it will happen. Yeah, but it definitely happens, and I have a lot of faith in that. And not only that, see, when you're waiting for this to happen, so you know that it might happen, you've already experienced it once, you know how beautiful it is, but you don't know when exactly or how or what was it that exactly caused it. So the only thing that we can do is to continue to practice with the same kind of focus, because that is the only path that God has asked you to do. Okay, you just continue to practice and you put your heart and soul into it, and at some point you'll feel it.
Do you remember that moment when you felt that connection?
Yeah, exactly this or then or there, but it happens, okay, several times you feel it. You feel a presence, you feel very emotional. Whether you actually see the divine or not, all that you don't know, but you feel very, very emotional, and you feel a certain feeling that is, there is a connect, and there is a feeling that goes beyond words that you don't even know how to explain. And usually you're in tears at that time and you're in your own space.
Margazhi and the art forms, there's so much of evolution that's happening with it. Do you feel the jewelry designers are also adapting to reflect that change?
I think so. I think so. Definitely, yes. Because see, today you have so many pieces of jewelry which can be worn for any occasion. And very often it's a traditional piece which will be slightly tweaked by a jeweler. But it's the tweaking where the jeweler's expertise and his creativity or her creativity and design and execution that come into play. Definitely. I think there is a lot that is happening, and a lot of jewelers are doing their best to create this change, and it's looking absolutely gorgeous. It's really looking so. For instance, like I am enjoying wearing what you gave me. This is this traditional Tirumangalyam that yeah, because I've seen all my friends wear it at all their weddings, and I've always thought to myself, at some point I should make one like this. And today I'm so lucky that I'm wearing this. And so you've got these wonderful pieces, but it's all so heavy and so big that you don't even take it out and use it. Whereas these sort of pieces, especially where jewelers are, people like you are working on these things, where you're contemporizing even the traditional designs in such a way that you're holding on to the aesthetic. That is exactly what we're doing in Bharatanatyam. We are trying to hold on to the aesthetic, and we are also trying to, I wouldn't say contemporize, but we're trying to make it more interesting, adding a different flavor, because also today's audience is so informed because of social media. People are watching things everywhere, so you need to have something else different. So I think jewelers are doing a wonderful job. Excellent job.
That's nice to hear from someone who's so well informed about this. I think while performing in India or internationally for such a diverse audience, how does that shape the way you present Bharatanatyam as an art form?
Because it's not every platform and every stage where you can do the same thing and present the same repertoire or the same kind of presentation. You have to definitely alter it, keeping in mind the audience that is in front of you. When you travel abroad, yes, you really have to take some trouble over it. Sometimes when you go to a place like France itself, people are very, very tuned into culture. Whether or not they understand totally, they appreciate that authentic culture, and they're able to see the difference. Okay, so for them, maybe you can use whatever you do here in Mylapore. Okay, something which is very strong, staple. But sometimes in some other place, that might be a bit too strong. To not a bit too much. So you want to give something a little lighter vein, something that is more easy to comprehend, easy to understand. So yes, definitely you have to alter base. Sometimes we go to the place also, and then we take a pulse of the audience and we change. And I've also changed on stage. That is, halfway through the recital, I've gone and told my musicians, you know what, I think we need to add this or remove this. And then, we've done that last minute as well. Because, by once the program starts, the pulse of the audience, and you want to give them what they will appreciate. Yeah, Kandipa. That is, we do it all the time. And once I remember we had gone to Amsterdam. No, yeah, we had gone to Netherlands, and it was 5 days, 5 concerts. Okay, and in different places in Netherlands. So every day you travel 2 hours by road, and there was this guy who was driving our van. He would drive our van every day, and it was quite quite hectic because 5 days, and he loved Indian dance. So he would come to India and would come to Tirunamalai. He was a great devotee of Ramanar. So he was a great devotee of Ramanar. And not knowing the language, not knowing what our culture was, somewhere it was able to touch him. And the storyline also of the different pieces were not like something which is very easy to understand. It's only for people who understand our culture will even understand that. So that, I think, is the beauty of our art form. And that is the beauty of this whole thing.
So it's so beautiful. Art forms culture actually have no language barrier. It touches soul to soul, Margazhi.
Yes, Kandipa.
Yeah. So lastly, I want to ask you, what do you think is the true gem of Margazhi?
Okay, before you say lastly, I think jewelry is a very important integral part of our culture. Right from the time a child is born, the first thing that you do is to put on jewelry for the child, even when it is 10 days old. Okay, and whether it is a temple, whether it is a deity, the first thing, even when you keep the idol, you put in only gems into that, and after that only you even place the idol. And even whether it is the small deities that we do puja with at home, where we have small ornaments made for them, or whether it is the temple where Pazhagalathu Kovil, which has so much of traditional jewelry, or whether even now latest temples where we make all our gods are decorated with jewelry. And people like you who are in this beautiful line. So we all coexist. We all share the same thing. We share the same sentiment, the same culture. So if we are going to wear it, you're the ones who are creating it. So you will have to put, see, what does Andal say in her Pasaram? What does she say? Kodare vellum seer Govinda undanodu paadi parekondu yamperum sanmanam naadu pugalum parisinal nandraga chudagame tolvaliye chudagame tolvalaye tode sevipuve padagame. All these are different kinds of ornaments. So she's talking about the earring. She's talking about the earring which is worn over here on the top of the ear over here. And she's talking about a netti chutti. She's talking about again jhumkis. She's talking about a vala here. So which means, when was all this written? How many centuries and centuries ago? She's describing all these pieces of jewelry. Krishna, you will give all this to us as a gift because we have done your Pavenu so well. This Neli Modaram that your mother has given me so beautifully to wear. I've always appreciated this piece of art. Once again, it's a timeless piece. And adhe madri nose rings, nose pins. This particular nose ring I want to talk about. This my mother is very, very fond of remaking jewelry. So idamati. And finally she had a bunch of stones where the jeweler told her, "Ida vechite eddume panna mudiyadu because each stone does not match the other in size, shape, nothing. So I can't do anything." And she wasn't going to take no for an answer. So she sat and she had this picture of Alavel Mangatayar, calendar photo. So she drew that and she told him, idalla vechu. So he said, "Amma, I really can't explain this." No, you try.
You have to do it.
You have to try. If we want a few, we can always buy a few more stones, but you need to do it. So that is how this natta came to be. Because it's totally mismatched stones. Even one stone won't match the other.
I'm trying to see it. It's very pretty.
I know the story behind it. That's how I know. So it's absolutely mismatched. But எனக்கு இது ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும்.
So the story that you said about this beautiful nath you're wearing, it's very similar with how I worked on this new brand that I just launched. It's called Thamalli. So Thamalli, the name comes from both my grandmother's names.
Oh wow!
My Amma Thamalarachi and my Appata's Anandavalli put together is Thamalli.
How interesting! See, traditional old names are sounding so new and beautiful.
That's how Thamalli came. So that's very similar how I work on. I work with very natural gemstones. So each of it is of a different shape or a different tone or a different color, but when designed and put together, it looks so beautiful. Like you're saying, it complements each other when put together. Exactly how I worked on the pieces.
Oh, very nice.
It's a joy. So Ninga Solomon, that's the first thing that came to my mind. And what do you think is the true gem of Margazhi?
The true gem of Margazhi across the globe to me is Chennai. Nowhere else, I think Margazhi can have this flavor. Whether it is spirituality, whether it is culture, whether it is food, whether it is fashion, I think everybody all over the globe should come and visit Chennai, because this kind of a feast they will never ever be able to experience in any other part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Namma Chennai.
Yes, number Chennai.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, Atte. It was so inspirational for me to just listen to you. I just want to keep listening to you and talking. There's so much that I'm picking on and learning from you. Thank you so much for being here. It means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and wishing Thamalli all the very best. It will make both your grandmothers and the rest of your family, friends, and your well-wishers so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.